Hello, everybody, and welcome to Curtis's Podcast Network. I'm the host of the channel. My name is Curtis Brown, and this is This AFC South Show 141. Yesterday, we found out that a channel regular, friend of the show, friend of the channel, friend of all of ours, Titan Fox, passed away. So I decided to go ahead and put him in the CPN Hall of Fame, which I wasn't even sure I was going to do, but I can't think of a better person to put in first. Sucks the way he went out, but we're gonna miss him. We're gonna enjoy the time that we did get to spend with him, and we hope that you guys enjoyed the segments where he was on, and I mean on like in both situations, literally there and then on in like a light switch kind of way. TF was a lot of fun. We're gonna miss him dearly. You guys got anything you want to say about TF?
Yeah, I mean, I met him I met him on Facebook years ago in a Titans group, and he and I just always kind of saw eye to eye on things. And he was a good guy. I mean, loved the Titans. I hate that he never got to see the Titans win a Super Bowl. I hate that the worst season in the last 15 years was his last season he got to watch. It's unfortunate, but even the entire time, while he was sick, he was still super optimistic about this team. He loved it. He loved our podcast. I mean, he's a guy whenever we do lives, dude was always there if he couldn't be on. And I don't know, man, just top tier human being, and just huge, prayers to his friends and family.
Yeah. T's and P's out to the Fox family.
Mm-hmm.
Isaiah?
Yeah, I mean, Titan Fox, he was a cool guy. I really enjoyed my time with Titan Fox. Even though we were, I was a Jags fan, he's a Titans fan, we still saw eye to eye on a lot. Me and him agreed on a lot of stuff. Great dude. Even when we didn't agree, it was always a good time, joking around with him, having a good time. Sucks to see him go. He's definitely our biggest fan. He's definitely been here since basically day one, supporting us, and he showed up to everything. Always commented, was always there. It's just, it's unfortunate to see him go, and let's get a good one in for him.
Yes, sir. All right, well, let's get a little bit of housekeeping done before we get into the rest of the show. Like to get 35 likes on this episode. 20 sub goal did not get hit last time. Only got one. We're at 425 at the time of this recording, so we'd like to see those numbers increased. Don't forget to hit the notification bell. And we're also on Spotify now, so please check us out on Spotify. I don't know that we're on Apple Music yet, but we'll get there. Let's start by talking about the NFC divisional games. Let's start with KC and Buffalo. Okay, Kansas City and Buffalo. It's in Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 2.5 points. The over-under is 45.5. Does anybody have anything one way or the other on this game?
I feel like this is this is like the new generation of Tom Brady and Peyton Manning in these playoff games that are super competitive. I don't know who's going to win. I have Buffalo finally breaking the streak just because Kansas City, I mean, the magic of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes is insane, but man, the receivers are just not good this year. The offense has taken a huge step back. I just don't see them beating Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo is an elite team. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I don't even think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. But I have Buffalo winning this game just because Kansas City is not a very complete team this year. They look disheveled. Patrick Mahomes is clearly frustrated with his receivers, and I just don't think they have it in them to make a run. I mean, no knock at the Chiefs. I mean, they're still a good team. It's not their year. They need to stock up on talent on that offensive side of the ball. So I have Buffalo win this one.
Okay. Isaiah?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that even though the Chiefs have not had a great offense this year, I think their defense has been playing lights out the past couple of weeks. But Buffalo's also picked it up a lot since they went on that losing streak. So it's going to be interesting to see. I can see this game going either way. Like Blake similarly said. I mean, it's going to be a tough game for the future to come. We're going to see it probably, if not every year in the playoffs, every other year. It's definitely one of the premier matchups that everybody looks out for, and it'll probably be one of the most watched games in the playoffs. I think I'm going to take Kansas City in this one. I think we're going to be able to frustrate Josh Allen and get him to make some turnovers. He's got interceptions in his veins, and I think we're going to come out in this one.
There's a lot that can be said about this matchup. Namely, to me, the one thing that sticks out is this matchup was so important to the NFL that they changed the overtime rules after one of their games.
Yeah.
They literally just want to keep giving us more football between these two teams. I'm not going to fight it. I like it. Okay. I think Buffalo gets the win here. I think Kansas City, while their defense has played lights out all season long, and I think they will continue to do that, I think that Buffalo's defense will be able to put the screws or tighten the screws down on the Kansas City offense and those young drop-prone receivers.
Very Sony.
Yeah. Martez Reynolds-Scanning.
So whoever else.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to murder Valdez-Scantling after that one game where he dropped that pass in the end zone. And I can't remember what game that was, but I thought they were going to actually storm the field and murder him. It was bad.
No, I mean, they're honestly like a SoundCloud rapper with the amount of drops that they have. Like it's really bad. Yeah, no, I got to go Buffalo. 45.5 over under. How you guys feeling about that one?
I don't know, man. It's either going to be really high scoring or it's going to be.
I'm going under.
I feel under. I just don't think Kansas City's going to put up those points. Hey, where is it? Is it in Buffalo or is it Kansas City?
It's in Buffalo.
I'm going to go under.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends if we get a snowstorm or not again.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm going to take the under as well at this point.
Okay. Let's shift to Green Bay, San Francisco. Green Bay obviously coming off of a shellacking of the Dallas Cowgirls. San Francisco, the 1 seed, got the bye week. 9.5-point favorites over the Green Bay Packers. Over under 48.5. The 49ers are going to win this game. I don't see a way for Green Bay to win. Their defense is not very good. Jordan Love is definitely progressing and has been taking a lot of the right steps and making a lot of the right throws down the stretch to even get into the playoffs. I think he's good, and I think he'll get better with time. But this year is not his year. So I have San Francisco winning. And I think I'm going with the over on this one. I think San Francisco might put up the over by themselves. Anybody else?
I got San Francisco as well. I kind of want to pick the Packers. I might switch before the game. The only reason is because Jordan Love kind of has been playing lights out lately. I think the last 8 games, he has 16 touchdowns and 1 pick. He's not turning the football over. Aaron Jones is looking fantastic. I mean, the offense is firing on all cylinders. Matt LaFleur is calling just great games, and I'm a pretty big LaFleur hater. The defense isn't great. That's a huge mismatch there, just because San Francisco, man, they can just throw up points. But also San Francisco, I mean, if we have to be honest with ourselves, they're not the most consistent team offensively either. There are games where they just are dominant. There's other games where they just fall flat.
Yeah.
So I think safe is put your money on San Francisco. I might just go a little crazy and pick Green Bay the day of. But as of right now, I'm going to pick San Francisco. And what's the over-under on this one?
48.5.
I think I'm going to pick the over. I think this could be a high-scoring game.
Okay. Isaiah?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I think the 49ers are going to take it, though. They're pretty healthy going in. I do think that the Packers have been playing well. But I don't know. It's just hard for me to see them continuing this streak against such a good team. But, I mean, I could see them winning potentially, though. I mean, the 49ers have been known to blow it in the playoffs. So, we could see that. But I don't see that happening this time. I've got the 49ers, honestly, as my NFC Super Bowl team. So I think they're going to take it this week as well.
Okay. Over or under?
Let's go under.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right. The next NFC matchup is Tampa Bay traveling to Detroit, where Detroit is a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is also 48.5. The Lions coming off an emotional win last week. Yesterday is not right. Last week against the Rams, with all the storylines going on about the two teams swapping quarterbacks, hella draft picks. Now Jared Goff has got his Lions in the divisional round for the first time since 1993. This is a monumental step for the Lions organization. Jared Goff has completely revitalized his career and is now seen as a viable quarterback option going forward. Maybe it was the Hendon Hooker selection that lit a fire under his ass. I don't know. But he was playing good down the stretch last season too, so that can't be it. But I'm going Detroit in this one, even though I think Tampa Bay has a lot of character on their team, and I think they're one of those teams that plays smash mouth football. I think the Lions have the better opportunity to get to the NFC Championship game. So Detroit, and I'm going under. Anybody?
I have Tampa Bay in this one. The reason why is just watching Baker Mayfield. I mean, like you said with Goff, so I'm not even going to touch on Goff because you spoke on him kind of perfectly. This is going to be a game of 2 number 1 overall draft picks. Huge matchup. I mean, if you looked at this on paper, a few years back, you're like, wow, this is going to be an incredible game. Neither of these quarterbacks have really impressed a ton. I mean, yeah, Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl, which is incredibly impressive. But Baker Mayfield is just playing lights out right now. I mean, everyone's been doubting him. I mean, Carolina, he's on the Panthers last year, and they had him on scout team defense at times. And it's kind of hilarious that this man is now, starting in playoff games and winning games. The connection with him and Chris Godwin and Mike Evans and even Kate Otten, I mean, it's just so impressive. The defense is also great. I mean, it's a lot of complimentary football. Antonio Winfield, I mean, he's first-team All-Pro. I think the momentum's with them. But I think I have to go with the hot hand. I know Detroit, they're a lot of fun to watch. I think selfishly, I'd like for them to lose too, just so the Titans can interview Ben Johnson for head coach. But I think the Bucs are looking good. I picked them last week to win, and they did. They did upset Philadelphia. So I think I'm gonna ride with them. I think they're a dark horse Super Bowl team, which would be crazy to think about having Baker Mayfield as the quarterback. But
yeah,
I think it is possible. So
one hell of a way to follow up Tom Brady.
Yeah, no kidding. Especially, I know a few Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, and even to this day, they still don't like him. It's like, I mean, he's done everything like more than everyone's asked for.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's no Tom Brady, but Baker Mayfield's looking pretty damn good. So I don't understand the hate. I think it's just there is a stigma behind him. But also, whenever I saw him just playing, like practicing, what a can of dip or Zins in his front pocket, dude's gonna win Super Bowl MVP. I'm starting to love him, kind of like I love Gardner Minshew. So I'm kind of feeling that Baker magic right now.
Okay. Over or under?
What's the over under again? I'm sorry.
48.5.
I think I have to go over, man. These are 2 really impressive offenses. I know the defenses are good, but these are 2 teams that are just really just throwing the ball out there. And they both have playmakers on both sides of the ball, so I think it's going to be over.
Okay. Isaiah?
Yeah, I like what Baker in the Pirates. I don't know why my brain just went there. I like what Baker and the Buccaneers have been doing. I think it's going to be an interesting one for real. It's just I don't know. I've got family from Tampa, a bunch of friends in Tampa. I could definitely see them taking this game, and I'm just going to stick with it. That's what my gut's telling me. I think they've been playing really good. I think that next week they might not make it through, but this week I've got them going through. I'm going to go over. I think Tampa Bay is going to put up at least 30 points.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's definitely a really good possibility this game has both teams putting up more than 30. And I could see that pretty easily, but I don't know. There's just something about 48.5 this week just seems a little too much for this game. I don't know. We'll see.
It is indoors too. I don't know if you guys saw that. Sorry to hate on the 0 female listeners, but there was a female reporter that asked Todd Bowles how they're going to get accustomed to playing in Detroit weather, and he was like, "It's a dome. Don't have to worry about
it." They play inside. We're good.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah, that's
yeah.
We could be doing that.
We could. That could be us. All right. So let's get into the one game that has relevance for this show: Baltimore and Houston. Houston is traveling to Baltimore, where Baltimore is favored by 9.5 points on FanDuel Sportsbook. The over/under on this game, 43.5. Before we get into any of who we think is going to win, let me pull up the injury report. And we'll start with the Ravens. So it looks like Mark Andrews is questionable, but he did get a full week of practice in. Jadeveon Clowney is going to play. He didn't participate and was a full participant Wednesday and didn't participate again Thursday. Duvernay is questionable. Zay Flowers is going to play. Malik Harrison is going to play. Marlon Humphrey is out. Delshon Phillips, the linebacker, is questionable. Tylan Wallace, the wide receiver, is out. And safety Ardarius Washington is questionable.
Okay.
For the Texans, Andrew Beck, the fullback, questionable. Jerry Hughes has been ruled out. Sheldon Rankins got his first reps at practice this week. He's going to play. Will Anderson's going to play. Blake Cashman. There doesn't look like there's anybody else that's – well, George Fant is questionable, but everybody else looks like they are ready to roll, which is going to be great news for the Texans offense because the more wide receivers we got, the better. Yeah. So with that, no Marlon Humphrey, potentially no Mark Andrews. How are you guys feeling about this game?
Marlon Humphrey kind of sucks anyway, so I've never liked that dude.
He's in that Sauce Gardner kind of constantly getting no calls.
Yeah, he's that dirty corner, which if you can hide it, and the problem is he doesn't even try and hide it. He sucks. He's slow. He just makes up for it because he beats the shit out of wide receivers and refs don't call it. But honestly though, I think the Ravens are playing really well this year. I know I took the Browns last week and they lost. Maybe for your sake, I take the Ravens this week and they lose. But I don't know, dude. The Ravens have been looking good. Lamar Jackson has been playing well. It's just they're a pretty complete team. They signed Dalvin Cook, which definitely helps them as well. He's now 2 weeks on the team now, so he's had a little bit more time, 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to start taking some more reps against you guys. He's a guy who hasn't played much this year, and he definitely hasn't played in their system. It's going to be interesting. I think the Texans definitely have a chance. But I think Mark Andrews comes back. I think that a lot of those questionable guys are going to play, and they're going to put together a complete game. The Texans are going to have to play mistake-free football to have a chance of pulling this one out. Yeah, I've got the Ravens in this one. Honestly, I don't think there's many teams that are going to beat them right now, unless it's one of the two out of the Buffalo and Chiefs game.
Well, let's remind ourselves that the starters for the Ravens haven't played in 3 weeks. Lamar Jackson is 1-3 in the playoffs. The last time he played Houston, while he only threw 5 incomplete passes, one of them was an interception. He threw for 169 yards and was the team's leading rusher with 38 yards. We got them in a lot of second and long, third and long situations, and our offense had not found any sort of rhythm yet. CJ Stroud threw for 242, no touchdowns, no picks. He had a sack fumble because I'm pretty sure one of our offensive linemen got hurt that game. But that was Damian Pierce was the lead back then. We didn't get much going on the ground. Offensive line has not. We're not even other than Laramie Tunsil. The same offensive line will not be playing. There's a lot of differences between Houston's team week 1 and Houston's team now, and I'll say the same thing for the Ravens because the Ravens definitely didn't look the way they have throughout the rest of the season week 1. They definitely found a little bit of a rhythm, but I question whether or not the Ravens are really up to the task without Marlon Humphrey. This is a team that's defense usually lets their corners play sides, just like Cleveland does. And we were able to get Nico Collins off of Denzel Ward by doing that. So whoever the CB1 is now, whatever side of the field he's on, you better believe Nico Collins is going to be all over the field trying to find a favorable matchup. And I believe Bobby Slowick will do everything in his power to make sure that is as often as humanly possible. The Ravens defense is the big question mark for me because while they're solid, I don't know how the hell to attack that in any other way than just kind of moving dudes around. We did have a phenomenal game against the number 1 defense in the regular season against the Cleveland Browns last week. So it can be done. It can be done. A little nervous, but I think there should be nerves on both sides. I've been talking to some Ravens fans, and they're trying to play the underdog card while almost double-digit favorites. I don't know how that works, but you can't do that. Blake, do you have anything?
I think the winner of this game will represent the AFC South or the AFC in the Super Bowl. I think both of these are the better teams in Kansas City and Buffalo. CJ Stroud is probably Offensive Rookie of the Year. Puka Nacua is the only competition. And he might be an MVP, especially if he wins this game. Lamar Jackson sucks in the playoffs. I mean, like you said, he has not played in 3 weeks. That is a long time, especially for Lamar Jackson, who, he's injured a lot. Whenever he comes back, he usually needs a couple games. I know he's not injured now, but he has not played in a while, so it may take him a while. I think it's going to be a game of defenses. I would pick the under in this game. I think Baltimore's defense is better, though, so I'm going to have to go with Baltimore. It would not shock me one bit if Houston wins this game just because CJ Stroud, I mean, that dude plays like a man possessed. Dude's so good. I mean, he lit it up against Cleveland Brown, and that's a very good defense. So the fact he was able to carve them up, I mean, I'm not too worried about Baltimore just because I think they're pretty comparable. I think Baltimore does have the best defense in the NFL this year. But Baltimore also had the wild card, and that man is Jadeveon Clowney, who's been talking crap, saying that he wants to knock Houston out of the playoffs. And, he's played on a lot of teams now. I mean, that man's kind of, you can call him a football hoe. I mean, dude kind of bounces around team to team, short relationships with them. And every time he plays against his former teams, he usually lights them up, except for when he was with the Titans playing Houston. He didn't do anything because he didn't do anything that entire year. But, he does pretty good against his former teams. So I think there's a little bit of wild card there. This may be a game where I switch my pick last minute. But as of right now, I have Baltimore. I will say though that the fact they're 9.5 favorites is kind of ridiculous. If I'm putting money on this game, and honestly, I kind of might. I don't think Houston, if they do lose, I don't think they're going to lose by 10 points or more. I think that's kind of crazy. I think if they do lose, it'll be close. Definitely a one-score game. So one-score games, man, they can go anywhere. It's oftentimes who has the ball last. You know, what's his name? Matt Burke, your defensive coordinator. Let's see what he can do against Lamar Jackson, contain him, because everyone knows the formula to beat Lamar Jackson, man. Keep him in the pocket and make him beat you with his arm. And he has not really proved that he can beat anyone with his arm. That's why he's always usually knocked out of playoffs early.
Yep.
I mean, it's safe to say Baltimore. My gut says Houston's going to win this game, but regardless, I think whoever wins this game is going to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl.
Good. That's fair. Isaiah, over or under 43.5?
I'm going to go under.
Okay. I'm going with Houston, and I'm going over.
Oh.
I think there's a really good shot that the score of this game is probably 28-24 kind of range. I definitely think Houston can put up 28 points on most any defense, even without a phenomenal run game. But, Baltimore's only allowed 12 plays all season of 20-plus yards or more. I read a thing earlier. It was like half of them were because of play action. The other half were because one particular player was miscommunicated with and had the wrong assignment or just got flat out beat. So if that guy's playing and we're running play action, I like our shots. So, I mean, you want the running game to happen, but we really haven't had it all year, and we've still been able to win games. It's going to be a tough one. I expect a slobber knocker. I expect a lot of physicality. I think the weather is supposed to be like 40 degrees or something. It'll be the warmest game of the weekend. But, I think Houston's got a real shot. I think C.J. Stroud kind of gives them that maverick that they need to kind of never be out of a game kind of situation. And he's learned a lot from the first time he played them. We've changed. They've changed. We've grown. We have a really young team, whereas for the most part, Baltimore's team is not young. I think Nico Collins is probably the biggest X factor in this game. And then for defense, you gotta look at Derek Stingley and then the guys up front rushing the passer. You can get Lamar flustered if you can get in his face early and often. I think you can cause him to make some Joe Flacco-esque mistakes like last week. It's just a matter of capitalizing on them. We were able to bottle them up the first game of the year. They won 25-9. Again, because the Houston Texans offense had literally never worked together. So I'm excited. I'm a little nervous, but I feel better about it than I did. I don't know. I guess before the Browns game, I feel better about this matchup than I do. Like I would have preferred to have played the Ravens in the first round and then played the Browns personally, because I don't have a lot of faith in Lamar. He hasn't earned it, but because he earns a paycheck, so whatever. All right. Anything else, boys, about this game?
If the Ravens come out and beat y'all and cover the spread or get the over, will Lamar Jackson have earned it, or will Lamar Jackson ever earn it?
I mean, he'll earn it eventually. I don't know if this game is necessarily the definitive "you've earned my respect" kind of thing, but if he goes out there and he beats, let's just say they win this game and then they're playing Buffalo or they're playing Kansas City next week, and they win that game, then I'll be like, all right. It's different Lamar. Respect him. But at the moment, no, not so much. He's a running back who throws the football.
I will
Okay.
say with this whole like weekend of games, I will say I think the matchups are a whole lot better this week than they were last week. I think the games will be a lot better. I mean, last week was boring football. I mean, none of these games were very exciting. There were a lot of them were blowouts. It was hard to watch a lot of the playoffs last week.
Oh,
Whereas
yeah.
I think this one's gonna be a whole lot better. Like I think it's gonna be the exact opposite of last week, where these games are all gonna go down the wire. And I'm pumped for it, man. I'm excited. Like January football, man, it's exciting stuff.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't get much better.
And at least one of our teams are in it.
Right?
So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Blake, let's talk about your team. They're looking for a head coach. I heard on the radio today that the list is now 11 names long.
Yeah, I'm actually going to interview next week. Curtis, you want to interview too?
Yeah,
you know,
we'll
we're
do
going to interview Mayor Shelley. He's going to come over there and he's going to interview. I mean, they're interviewing everybody. I mean, you could have the last ranked offense in the NFL, and you're getting to interview the Titans. I mean, they're bringing in Kafka.
Please interview OC, the greatest OC of all time,
Press Taylor.
You know, interview Trent Baalke. Take Trent Baalke. He's a great coach. He played linebacker in college. He knows he knows his stuff.
No, I mean Titans. I mean, we're making some really odd. I mean, I think we're just interviewing everybody, and I get it, doing your due diligence. I mean, this is Brandon Carthon's first time hiring a head coach. So, like, I get it. It does worry me a little bit. There's only been one individual who's been asked back for a second interview, and he is my personal favorite. So I'm happy about that, and that's going to be Brian Callahan. My kind of three is Brian Callahan, who's my number one, just because I think he's been very consistent. There's been a lot of injuries for Cincinnati over the years, and he's adjusted. I mean, they had Jake Browning, and dude looked pretty damn good. So he doesn't call plays. That's Zach Taylor, but he does have a lot of input, and he does design the plays, and he designs them kind of like Slowick does, where you look for mismatches and you just take advantage of all of that. I mean, you play smart football. And also, I think it comes with bringing his dad, Bill Callahan, who used to be a former NFL head coach. He's the Cleveland Browns offensive line coach, and they cleaned house on their coaching staff, essentially. They kept him. So it does show all the respect that they have for him. Ben Johnson, I mentioned him earlier, the offensive coordinator for Detroit Lions. I mean, he's been the offensive coordinator the last 2 years, been top, I think, 3 in scoring both years. They're exciting to watch. And they, besides the Amon-Ra, I mean, they don't really have any star wide receivers. And they make, Khalif Raymond and Josh Reynolds, who, both were outcast by Mike Vrabel's team. Not bitter about that at all. But they've been shining over there. And
they did have Laporta this year, though.
They did have Laporta, but he's a rookie. I mean, obviously he is very, very good, but, no one really knew what they were getting out of Laporta. And that's still, I mean, it's pretty impressive. And then he also orchestrated Jamal Williams to like 18 touchdowns last year. Yep. And that was pretty cool to see. So those are my top two. I do like Bobby Slowick. The more I look into him, he does look great. I was kind of just afraid of him, mostly because he's a Texan. And I'm so tired of Texans. Like, Vrabel came there. He was the 32nd ranked defensive coordinator in the NFL, and he came to Tennessee. And, we didn't get a ring. Yeah. But I know we were looking at, like, Aaron Glenn, who's a defensive-minded coach. I think he'd be fine. Defense coordinator for the Lions. I'd be fine with him. Same with Antonio Pierce.
Former Houston Texan, Aaron Glenn.
What?
Former Houston Texan, Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, I know, exactly. So, like, I think they'd be fine as a defensive-minded, but I feel like that's a lateral move. I mean, getting rid of Vrabel, who's a player's coach, who played in the NFL like those two, like, going to another of the same guy. Like, I just don't see you should have kept Vrabel at that point.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have to go offense. I want Brian Callahan, like, so bad. So I hope we get him. I don't think it's realistic we're going to get Jim Harbaugh. I don't even care. Bill Belichick, no. I'd rather have Todd Downing.
Yeah.
I'd rather have anybody.
Yeah. I mean, with Bill Belichick, I feel like he's got to be going somewhere where there's, like, already some established stars, and he could just come in and guide them to a playoff, Super Bowl, whatever.
I think he's probably going to Atlanta. I mean, we were talking about that before the show. I think he's going to Atlanta, and they're a mess. I mean, they have some, like, Kyle Pitts, they have Bijan and Algier, and Drake London. I mean, they got some good players. They just don't have a quarterback, and that's kind of important. So they're probably going to end up getting a USC guy, Caleb Williams.
Well, see, now here's the fun part about it.
They trade a lot.
Well, the Chicago Bears, who obviously own the number 1 draft pick, also are interviewing Caleb Williams, quarterback coach, for their offensive coordinator position.
Interesting.
That doesn't necessarily mean that, it's a foregone conclusion to Caleb Williams going to Chicago, but
Good Easter egg.
You do know, though, that, I mean, unless it was all just smoke and mirrors, Caleb Williams' agent said that they are only declaring for the draft if the Chicago Bears agree to not pick him or to trade the pick. And then within 2 days of making that statement, he declares for the draft.
Yeah.
So that tells me that they're planning on trading it, or he has confirmation from them that they're either bringing in some new people, or that, they've said they're not going to pick him.
There have been rumors about draft prospects, but there's been so much about Caleb Williams not wanting to play here, wanting certain stake. After a while, if someone said you're smoking crack for 10 years, you're probably smoking some crack. And the fact that they've been talking about him for the past year of all this, how picky he is, it's all right, there has to be some truth.
Yeah,
he's the new Kyler Murray for me. He's very picky.
I don't think he's gonna be as good as Kyler Murray either. I think he's gonna be closer to a Josh Rosen.
I think he's gonna be trash. He honestly, he's not even that good against the worst defenses in college football.
It's true.
And against good defenses, he's terrible. I don't understand. I think the only reason he's regarded as a generational talent is because the media says generational talent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
what was that? The game against Arizona, he had 6 rushing touchdowns. You're a quarterback.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Throw the ball.
He doesn't trust his arm. His coaches probably don't trust his arm either. I mean, if the Bears draft him, they get what they deserve because they're drafting probably a less talented Justin Fields.
I mean, honestly, I think Justin Fields, he proved he's actually a pretty decent quarterback this year when they actually gave him some weapons and the O-line was actually playing pretty decent.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, he's definitely not, a number 1 overall pick. I would trust him over Caleb Williams, though. If someone saying, hey, go to Caleb Williams, roll the dice on him, or we've seen a couple years of Justin Fields, I'm keeping Justin Fields. I think you can groom and make him better. He just has to really work on those turnovers. That's the liability.
Yeah. Honestly, too, he shouldn't throw as much as he does. I mean, but his defense sucks, I mean, their defense is terrible.
Yeah. Well, I think also I read some stats about Justin Fields on all of his career numbers so far. He is 30th or worse in every major passing category since he entered the league. Running category, however, he's top 2 in just about every category. If you're looking for a quarterback, Justin Fields is not the guy.
No.
If you're looking for a guy who's going to be able to scrap together, a few runs to get a first down or extend the drive or, because he's so fast and athletic, probably score you a long one. But I don't trust him to throw the ball at all. And you could tell that the Bears didn't trust him to do that either because most of his passes this season were at or behind the line of scrimmage.
The only person he threw deep to the entire year was DJ Moore.
Yeah. And
the entire reason they brought him there.
There was I think a couple games where he hit Cole Kmet for a 21-yard touchdown.
Yep.
Yeah,
Cole Kmet's a solid. Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah. But yeah, no, with all that being said, I mean,
there's some big glitter kitty news lately.
Oh yeah, hit me.
They originally were blocked to interview with Ryan Nielsen, the defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know why, but the Atlanta Falcons decided that he can now interview with Jacksonville. And so we actually are bringing in Ryan Nielsen for an interview. He took them from 28th to 8th in passing defense, and he took them from another stat to another stat. I saw it the other day. I can't remember it off the top of my head. But he's got a freaking killer mustache. I like the guy. He's a proven defensive coordinator. I don't want a rookie defensive coordinator, honestly, at this point. I mean, we've already got offensive troubles right now. We also interviewed with Chris Hewitt, Baltimore's defensive passing game coordinator and secondary coach. or we are about to, I believe. I can't remember if we have or not. It's, a lot going on with them and us. Chris Harris, Titans defensive passing game coordinator and cornerbacks coach. I swear to God, if we hire him, I'm going to blow a fucking gasket.
I hope you guys do, man. I really do.
And the sole reason we are even interviewing him, I guarantee you, is because of Kevin Byard and his success. That's probably it. No one else.
No, honestly. So with Chris Harris, so he was actually he was only with Titans for a year, so he got there last year.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's with Byard. I will say, I don't think he's that bad because before that he was with Washington and their secondaries were lights out and they had nobody. I think the Titans corners and safeties were just so horrible that no matter what we drew up, I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think Chris Harris is that bad. If he became your defensive coordinator, I honestly think you guys would improve. I think he's actually a good coach. He's a player's coach. Bowen, though, I think Bowen's also a pretty good defensive coordinator, and I think he interviewed with you guys as well.
Yep, he has.
My issue with both of them is they're all about that bend but don't break, but they are good at it. It's frustrating because, if it's, 3rd and 3, we're lined up 10 yards behind line of scrimmage, and that's so frustrating. We just let people get first downs, and it's yeah, I get it. Got to give up field goals and touchdowns, but how about go for a sack? You know what I'm saying? It's frustrating. Also, our defensive backs had, I think, 2 interceptions all year. No, I'm sorry. We had 4 because we had 2 the last game. So, I think we had 4, and I think 2 of those were Kevin Byard.
Yeah, as of right now, my top 3 are going to be Ryan Nielsen, Chris Hewitt, and the Don Martindale, Wink Martindale from the New York Giants, defensive coordinator. Those are my top 3. Leslie Frazier is potentially going to be interviewed. That name's been thrown around. I would like to, that he'd definitely be up there too. Yeah. He's got experience with Doug Peterson. He's from the Andy Reid coaching tree. He's got experience in the league, but that's kind of what I'm looking at right now. Haven't heard any news about Josh Allen. We'll see what he does. We're definitely going to need to restructure some contracts, throw some void years on some different contracts. But yeah, it's just, I know Trevor Lawrence met with ownership and some higher ups, so we'll see what kind of changes come in the next coming weeks and who we get in there, defensive coordinator. But it's going to be interesting to see what kind of scheme gets brought in, and okay. Hopefully got some glitter kitty news coming up.
Hell yeah! All right, well, boys, you got anything else?
No.
All right.
Rest in peace, Titan Fox, man.
Yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Let's end it on a fun note real quick.
Oh,
go ahead.
DH gate is taking a while, but my Will Levis jersey is ordered.
Let's go.
It will, it will definitely. We will hold a second memorial service for a TF when that gets in. But yeah, it's going to take 4 or 5 more weeks. So
yeah, DH gate for you.
Yeah, but they always say that they're solid jerseys when they come in. So
yeah, my Stonehouse is incredible.
For $33, I'll take it,
dude. Best deal ever.
All right, let's end this on a riddle.
Uh-oh.
Susan is a butcher. She is 5'5" and wears a size 6 shoe. What does she weigh?
Meat.
There it is. There it is. That a boy. All right. Well, folks, I want to thank you all for watching this episode. Go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button. 35 like goal on this episode. Like to get 20 subs. Like to be at 445 by the time the next episode comes out. So if you're watching and you're new here, please subscribe. We're trying to grow, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. Also, TF, meet you at the pearly gates, and I'll bring the beers, brother.
Mr. Deeds.
Yes, sir. That was literally the only thing I could think of. Dude, phenomenal movie. I always hear Al Sharpton being like, great rhyme. Yeah. All right, folks, be good people.